How are you guys doing? Today is Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to do an elite individual profile on Derwin James. The elite young, strong safety for the Los Angeles Chargers turns 25 today, and my intent with this episode of The Elite is to go through his accolades, his achievements, and show what he's been able to accomplish from the moment that he hit the limelight at Florida State up into where he is right now, despite all the injury-filled seasons that he's played. In the games that he has played, he has shown that he can be the difference between a win and a loss, especially in a team sport like football. If you're unfamiliar with Derwin James, he stands at about 6'2", at about 215. He's probably one of the better athletes that you'll see. He's probably one of the faster, quicker athletes, but I think he's incredibly smart. He knows how to read systems. He knows how to ball hawk, and he knows where the play is right before it's going to happen. That's why you see that as a safety, he's gone on to put up ridiculous tackling numbers, and of course, even in the parts of the defense that aren't just tackling, and all the parts that we really need to make up for just athleticism with a sense of just mental acuity and ability to actually be there. Derwin James is probably he's probably one of the best defenders before and after the play when it comes to his ability to break down what's going to happen. And it's virtually a work of art to watch him read plays and do what he does at a safety position. He's originally from Haines City, Florida, would establish himself as one of the best young college or one of the best high school prospects in the nation. And of course, you could tell that he was very good because he would start at Florida State as a freshman, which is virtually unheard of considering how amazing of a program Florida State really is. In his very first year in 2015 under Jimbo Fisher, he will go on to start 12 games and for a season where Florida State will go on to finish with a 10-3 record. They finished with the 14th best record in all of college football before losing to Houston in the Peach Bowl. But in that season, Derwin James had finished with 91 tackles on the season as a freshman, adding 4.5 sacks, adding two fumble recoveries and 2 forced fumbles. And at the conclusion of this year, he was recognized as one of the top prospects for the NFL. In his second season with Florida State, he will go on to play 2 games and finish with 11 tackles in a season where Florida State would finish winning the Orange Bowl as the number 8 team in the nation after beating Michigan. In 2016, he was named to the first team All-ACC, even though he only did play 2 games just for what he was able to do in his second year. He underwent knee surgery to deal with cartilage damage, but he eventually wouldn't come back. And he was granted a redshirt season in 2017. In 2017, as a redshirt sophomore, he would go on to play 12 games in a season where Florida State would finish with a 7-6 record in Jimbo Fisher's last season as the coach. They would go on to win the Independence Bowl versus Southern Miss to give a sense of where they were as a team, and ever since, Florida State really hasn't been the same after Jimbo Fisher left. But in Derwin James' final season, he would finish with 84 total tackles on the season, 5.5 tackles for losses. He finished with 2 picks, one of which was returned all the way for a pick 6. And in his redshirt sophomore season, he would go on to be named to the first team All-ACC. He was named a first team, or he was named an All-American, and he would go on to be taken with the 17th overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft. Looking at other players in his position, the only safety taken above him was Minkah Fitzpatrick, who is now playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he was drafted by the Miami Dolphins ahead of him. Other notable DBs in that draft would be Denzel Ward, who was taken with the 4th overall pick to go to Cleveland. This would also be the draft that would see Saquon Barkley taken by the New York Giants as well. But just to show how great of a draft that was, the pick right before Derwin James was Tremaine Edmonds going to the Buffalo Bills. But once Derwin James made it to the LA Chargers, he's shown that he was definitely ready for the NFL. In his rookie season in 2018, which was his age 22 season, this would be the only season in which he started all 16 games for his LA Chargers team. And in those games, in those 16 games he'd start, he finished with 105 tackles on the season. He added 3.5 sacks, 4 tackles for losses, and 13 passes defended. In 2018, in his rookie season, he would go on to make the second team All-Pro and also the first team All-Pro, in addition to being named a Pro Bowler. All in a season where the Los Angeles Chargers would finish with a 12-4 record and make the playoffs. This is the only time that they've made the playoffs as the LA Chargers. They would beat the Ravens in the wild card round before losing to the Patriots, the season where the Patriots would go on and win the Super Bowl, when Tom Brady would win his 6th as they beat the LA Rams. But following that season in which Derwin James was named an All-NFL player, he has not played a full season in the NFL since. In 2019, he would start only 5 games in a season where he had to really call it short after dealing with a stress fracture in his right foot. And then he was placed on injury reserve. In those 5 games he played, he finished with 34 tackles, and he had maybe 1 pass defended. And even since he has not played in a full game, as in 2020, after that, he would end up having to undergo surgery on a torn meniscus. And he will go on to exercise the 5th year. As the Chargers exercise the 5th year on his contract, he is eligible to come back for 2021, considering the last full season he played he has not played in the last 2 full seasons of the NFL. He played half of the season before this most recent one, so he hasn't played since 2018. It's been a second, but looking at the type of player that Derwin James has been in the games that he played, I expect him to not skip a beat as soon as he gets back to the league, showing the LA Chargers, the AFC West, and the rest of the NFL just the type of player that he is. And with that said, I want to thank the College Football and Pro Football Reference websites, along with the NFL and the ESPN websites, for giving me the facts and figures that I needed to do this episode. I want to thank everyone for listening to this piece. And I want to wish Derwin James a happy 25th birthday. If you ever get a chance to watch him, he's wearing number 25. And like I said, he's a player that's just getting started, and who knows what type of impact he'll have over the NFL between now and his 26th birthday. But with that said, I want to thank everyone once again. I hope all is well, and I will catch you guys tomorrow on August 4th once all of today's matchups and exhibitions are done. And hopefully when it comes to Derwin James, by this time next year, he'll have more in his career to talk about between his 25th and his 26th birthdays. With that said, I want to thank everyone once again. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with another episode of The Elite once today's episodes are done. And until then, peace out, and I'll catch you with another piece after this. And you ever get a chance to watch Derwin James, like I said, he's number 33 playing for the Chargers. Once again, thanks for listening to my piece. I hope all is well, and peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow.